Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, please do so. It goes a long way in helping to make some of these videos. A couple things I wanted to go over. I don't know about where you're at in your neck of the woods, but up here in the ice belt of northwest Wisconsin, up here in the Northwoods, we're on day number 4 of mid to upper 40s and sunshine. It's been a really stable pattern. The fishing is excellent, and ice conditions are still very good. Some of the launches, especially the ones that have slopes or that are, kind of pitched and have a lot of runoff, are getting a little dicey, but they're still getting trucks out over those. Of course, the more truck traffic there is over that crappie ice, the quicker it's going to deteriorate. So just keep that in mind and use common sense out there. But quads are out. Every type of machine that I've under the sun for ice fishing has been out. I've seen Rambo bikes out there, lawn mowers, golf carts, snowmobiles, UTVs, ATVs, whatever. Snow is almost completely gone. We might have an inch of the hard compacted stuff that's melted down. Some of the shorelines that don't get a lot of sun still have 2 to 3 inch drifts up against them because they're in the shade, but travel is excellent. Fishing has been really good. What I've noticed though, the last couple days, this is really early warmth, and we still have another 3 days of it coming, and it's only going to get warmer. They're talking it's going to touch 50 again tomorrow, and possibly on Wednesday as well before the next cold front rolls in. So it's just a big tease. But with this melt, what I've noticed is there's been a position change with fish, especially the crappies. The crappies that were out in the basin, the deeper stuff, like the 30-foot, the 35-foot stuff, they have completely shifted and moved up shallower and more towards the north end of these lakes and basins. So if you've got a basin where you've been catching crappies, out on the, let's just say the southeast side of the basin, these fish have kind of changed their trajectory and have kind of hovered or shifted more north and more northwest. And I've seen that play out in 3 or 4 different lakes where I was catching crappies in December and January and even the start of February. There's a few rogue, fish out there. They're not really schooled up. The main schools have kind of pushed more north and west. And that could be because, maybe their migration patterns have already kicked in for, they're starting to think about staging for the spawn. I know a lot of you that open water fish right after ice out find crappies on the far north side of your lake and shallow weeds and shallow mud, the stuff that heats up with the sun a little bit quicker. That could be starting to play out as these fish have shifted. It could just be the food source, but I still think it's all weather and pattern related. So we're going to go to a lake today that's a little bit off the beaten path. We have a ton of these pothole lakes up here in northwest Wisconsin, and this is kind of one of those. It still has a max depth of 35 feet. I believe it might even be a little deeper than that. It might be 40. But regardless, we're not fishing there. We were fishing over that deep hole earlier in the season, but there's a little secondary basin, if you will. It kind of comes up, flattens out, but there's still a lot of ground to cover, so I can't really call it a flat. But it's the depth is more 15, 18 feet instead of the 35, 40 feet. The schools were there the other day. We're going to go back there and see if they're still there, or if maybe they've even gotten a little further up and more shallow. But we're going to find out. We're going to target them with, we got a drop kick on paired with an IJO quiver minnow. We've got a smaller 3 mil Widowmaker Rainbow Metallic paired up with an IJO Money Bug. So we're gonna have a big profile, we're gonna have a small profile, and of course I always bring live bait. I've got spikes and waxies just in case. But yeah, barometric pressure is at 30.04 today and holding steady. It's been steady for the last 3 or 4 days. These fish should want to play. The only thing I don't like is the lack of snowpack that we don't have right now, because that can be, it can make for noisy travel on the ice. We're walking out today anyways. Hopefully it's not, they don't get too spooked by that, but we're going to find out. So stay tuned. And then later in the day, we're going to make a stop on before we get home, we're going to make a quick stop on a small lake as well for big bluegills. So hopefully it's the best of both worlds today. Hope you enjoy the hookups. So, of course, we get out here, and plan A that I had in my head when I went to bed last night was not a thing. It did not manifest itself. But what I found was something very unexpected. This is mid-February, and yes, it's beautiful outside. We've had a beautiful stretch of warm weather, but I've got crappies. Not in that secondary basin, not on my flat, but a step further. We are just outside of a patch of rice beds, and it's 6-7 feet. When you find the holes in the rice pad or in the rice beds, we're dipping. We got our long rod out from Toxic. We're dipping plastics. I've got a, that's the vertical scud missile. And this is the IJO spider monkey. We're just dipping, no Vexlar needed. These fish are super finicky. You have to drill your grid, which I've already done. I've seen them up there. I've caught a couple up there already. They're sitting right underneath the ice practically. We're gonna go get some right now and try to get some on film for you. Really cool bite going on. Way earlier in the year. I mean, it's mid-February. Usually this is a late March into April bite. It's crazy. Let's go get them. Sean. I feel like a kid in a candy store right now, catching them like this. It's just a lot of fun, and they're solid fish. They come in like a freight train and just see your ride jump to the side of the hole, you lift up and they're on. And you can just feel when it's a good fish. You can feel that weight. Look at that crappie. Look at the build on that thing. This is just a lot of fun. It just goes to show you, like, if plan A doesn't work, always have a plan B. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really have a plan B. I mean, I was gonna check this just for the hell of it, but I didn't really think there'd be anything up here yet. But I was wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong, and I'm glad I took the time to check. Heck yeah. Fish on. This one doesn't feel as big. That's a decent fish. That's a decent eater fish right there. About 10 1/4, maybe 10 1/2. They're all mixed sizes up here. I was hoping maybe for a couple of quality bluegills up here, but I don't think they're quite this shallow yet. They are not on that program yet. Sean. No, they're solid fish. You know, it's kind of a catch-22. It's a lot of fun catching these, but you almost wish you were in a little deeper water so you could at least get some of that thump action going on. You're literally lifting these fish right through the hole. They are right underneath the ice. Just hammering that money bug. Heck yeah. IJO Plastics getting it done. That's my favorite salmon color that everybody else thinks is ugly. Apparently the fish do too. Yes, sir. Another gorgeous day out here, man. 54 degrees, no wind. Oh, hooked up. It takes a lot of getting used to. You really only have to take a couple steps back and these things come flying up the hole. That might be could be our biggest one so far right there. Just look at how solidly that build is on the fish. Beautiful colors. Weed fish are so pretty. They tend to take on the characteristics of their environment. The sunfish do too. Beautiful, beautiful fish. I'll show you what we're doing here again in a minute. Put this guy back. All we've done is we've taken the scud missile, which is meant to be a vertical jig, and we've tied the knot, we've cinched it up to the plastic side of the eyelet, and that gives it that hybrid half vertical, half horizontal presentation, and it looks like a struggling aquatic insect trying to get up, through the weeds. And this is the IJO money bug. It's my favorite because it's a multi-species bait. You're going to catch big perch on this, you'll catch crappies, you'll catch bluegills, everything else that's swimming. And that's all we're doing. We're just dipping with this long rod. I thought the crappies were fun on this long rod. These gills are a hoot as well. All muscle, all circle diggers. Another gooser falls victim to the scud missile. Hell of a day again. It just doesn't get old. Clearly. Just a solid fish, man. Big crappies, nice sunnies. Let's go. Sunset magic hour time. You know what that means. Big bluegills. They're on the hunt. Another beautiful day here in the Northwoods. 52 degrees. No wind, just absolutely gorgeous. I'm telling you, it feels like the end of April out here. gorgeous, gorgeous fish right there. Let's go. Hooked up again. These things are just coming through in droves right now, and they're all quality fish. That's probably the smallest one we've gotten in the last probably 20 minutes, and that's still a 9.5 inch fish. Popped a couple of 10s, 1 10 1/4, just solid pie plates. Anywhere you go. The program has been really simple too. Just get out, drill your grid. I mean, 10, 12 holes will probably do you good. And then we're just we're going with the vertical presentation because it moves more water, it draws bigger fish in. And then we're loading it up with a gob of waxies, crushing the ass ends out of the waxies so that juice is flowing, and just drawing these bigger fish in. You'll see a bunch of smaller fish come in on the screen. You just got to play keep away because those bigger fish will come underneath, surpass all those small fish, and just chew.
Breaking out, but I'm not living without you.
This is a really good fish. Oh yeah.
Starting now, we're breaking out, but I'm not living without you.
That is pushing around.
This could be our one chance. We'll send a postcard when we're through.
Magic hour in the North Woods. Never fails.
We'll get there together. We'll get there together. I'll meet you at the starting line. Don't you ever leave my side. We'll get there together.
A fish. This might be one of those evenings we're out till about, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock. They are just coming in droves, and they are all this size. I mean, we've caught some, we haven't caught anything smaller than 9.5. They've all been from 9.5 to about this one's easy 10 3/4. Look at that fish. Look at the big ear tab on this fella. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous Wisconsin bluegill. How can this ever get old? I don't know, you tell me. So today was a little bit different. I'll explain for those who are interested in hearing what happened. It was a beautiful day. Nothing has changed with the weather. Not even the barometric pressure is steady. The last 2 days, these fish have been pushing up on the saddles, roaming the saddles and the shallower mud flats, feeding. Today, what we noticed, they pulled back. They kind of rode the rim of where that saddle starts to taper into the basin, and they were right on that rim, 16, 18 feet all day. And then they pushed up about an hour ago, and they've been running circles, which is weird. You can watch them on your electronics. You can see how we have the holes spaced out and where we got guys set up individually. And you can see one guy will get 2 or 3, then the guy who's about 10 yards away will get a couple, and so on and so forth. And it kept going around in a big circle. And they've finally, now they're on their way back out. Well, we've already got holes out there from earlier in the day, so now we've got guys staged out there, and it's just been a great day. It's just a way, you can get ahead of the curve a little bit if you put yourself in a high percentage area where there's going to be fish, especially at feeding windows, and then you can your holes are already drilled, so then you can just kind of follow them back out or almost ambush them on their way back out or on their way in. Just something to keep in mind. Again, you don't need a live scope for that. A Vexilar is doing us just fine. We've got 4 or 5 fish in between 10 and 10 3/4 inches tonight. A bunch of 9s. It's just been great. So if you can take that tidbit, kind of, go over your map, get a plan in your head, put it together, drill your holes, have confidence where you drilled, put yourself in high percentage areas where these fish are going to feed, and you're going to do all right. Trust me on that. Gillage. Straight up gillage. This is a good fish. This is a good fish. This is unbelievable. This has got to be one of the best evenings I've ever had in mid-February. Fucking 50 degrees outside and monster bluegills. Like by the dozen. Just a freaking super tanker. That is some gillage right there, my friends. You've got to love it.